Today's episode is produced through the program services of Project Media Zone, a community-based 501c3 media organization whose mission is to democratize media production of positive and informative content.
Even the Gun Hill, from Freeman Street to Prospect Avenue, Fordham Road, Cobb City to Elder Avenue, Valley Park, Eaton Wall to Bronx River, Bronx Deal, Soundview, S-Bar, baby. I'm boogie down like this choke king, man. We go within the playground.
Okay, folks, here we are in podcast land. I always like to say good afternoon, good evening, but who knows what time people are going to be watching or listening. So, hey, welcome to the Bronx Music Podcast. We have an unbelievable program, and you're going to meet our guest. I want to just tell you a couple of things before we get started. I'm so proud to say the Bronx Music Podcast with Gary Axelbank, was recognized by Ponce Bank as the best podcast in the Bronx. So that deserves a little applause. And we'll just do the thanks, and we'll do thanks at the end, but thanks to Elliot Glick and Monica Glick, who this is their home, the artist on City Island at 249 City Island Avenue. They are the best concert venue in the Bronx, three years in a row. That's not 9, that's 3 years in a row. And in order to do this, our buddy George Williams Jr., who's a technical director and the brains behind Project Media Zone, which is such an important concept for the Bronx, and our production assistant, Joshua Cruz. So I'm going to read, this is what they said in the Bronx Times about this program, and I wouldn't read it otherwise. It does sound nice, but it really leads right into who the guest is. So this is what they said about this podcast. We are now episode 24. Next month, we will begin our 3rd year. We do it once a month. Insightful, authentic, and full of soul, the Bronx Music Podcast captures the rhythm of the community, proving that the Bronx just doesn't make music, it is music. So there you go. That's what they said. And that's all about all the music in the Bronx. And it is the perfect introduction for our guest. It is Ricky Brugal. Nice to see you, Ricky. Thank you for joining us. Is it music?
It certainly is.
So Ricky makes original music, and here's one. Everybody remembers the Game Boy. I remember it because my kids played games on it. And he makes music using this item by repurposing old systems to create new sounds. He redefines nostalgia, for those of us who love the Game Boy, as an immediate and tangible experience. These unique electronic sounds are creating an international cult following. He will demonstrate on this program how repurposing game systems make music. He'll also create electronic music right in front of your eyes and ears. Ladies and gentlemen, Ricky Brugal.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we're just going to get undressed and tell you the truth, because that's what we do in the Bronx. When you reached out to me, I was like, wait a minute, this is pretty freaking wacky. So what is this, and how did it come about? How did you get from this playing? What kind of games did you play? You played all kinds of games,
all kinds of games, yeah.
So how did you get from this to all of this, and here we are. You got albums, you got all kinds of stuff. Talk about it.
All right, yeah. I'll try my best to give the most simplified version of this, but
this is very complicated.
Right?
process.
Yeah. It's there's a long history with chip music. That's the medium we're working with here.
Chip music.
Yeah. So it has origins in what's called the demo scene of the late 70s, 80s, early 90s, where computer programmers were creating small programs to showcase visual art, music, all sorts of things. It kind of evolved into this. So
wait. When you say they were programming, they were doing game systems.
Yeah,
and the game systems involved those things.
Yeah, they were creating demos on game systems that would showcase original music, original art. So folks who were creating art for video games on their own time would create their own thing using those systems. So similar to the Nintendo Game Boy, there's the Nintendo Entertainment System, the Atari. Folks were making music on that. Eventually, folks started making it on the Nintendo Game Boy.
No, when you say I really got to get down to the grassroots
I tried
here.
to make it simple.
No, we don't need simple. We want to get it right. So when you say they made music,
Yes.
the drums and the guitar and the vocals and all that, it was electronic music, and people were fascinated with this music?
Absolutely, yeah. There's folks who, it's an interesting thing to do, to kind of create these sounds on a system, to emulate a guitar, a drum, all those kinds of sounds. Yeah, there were folks doing that for many years.
And one of your guests who you brought in today was saying that he's a gamer. And does this music appeal to gamers? Is that in part? I mean, it's certainly we're here in the Bronx, and it appeals to all 1.4 million of us. But what about that?
I mean, I would say it definitely does appeal to gamers. But what's really cool is that there are folks who create this music who don't play video games either. They're just really interested in using the medium to create these kinds of sounds.
What's the fascination? I feel like we're in the ether here. We're in some.
Well, yeah, I can speak for myself and
yes,
and
please.
folks I've spoken to, right? A few things. I think so. This, and I'm going to get into this in a little bit later as well when I demonstrate for you. This system specifically, the Nintendo Game Boy, can't really see this, but it has 4 channels on it that represent different aspects of the sound. There's lots of possibility there, but it's also pretty limiting. So it's a fun challenge for a musician to create as much as they possibly can to realize a vision with limited space on a cartridge.
Have you been a musician with other instruments? Is this now the instrument?
So
I'm sorry, I'm really trying.
I will say, so actually, personally, no. There's many folks who do this music who are classically trained, who are amazing musicians with other instruments. I am not. I am not.
Wow.
No. I was not trained. This is just a very fun hobby. A lot of the music I create is a product of trial and error, experimenting with sounds, and again, trying to realize a vision I have on the system without that classical training, just kind of figuring things out.
Were you playing with a Game Boy and then you heard about chip music and you said, oh, I could do this? Or was it listening to the music that made you say, wow, this is cool, how do I do this?
Yeah, so I originally discovered this music. I was listening to other kinds of electronic music, like new wave and synth pop. I was looking for, this is kind of funny, I was looking for a list of, a compilation of covers of Depeche Mode songs, actually. Big
well,
fan of that band.
actually, Depeche Mode is a good tableau for this sort of thing.
Right. Yeah, one of my favorite bands ever. I found an artist.
But because of the technology that they boop, 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 boop,
Exactly.
all those kinds of things. By the way, you're going to hear all this stuff. So.
Yeah, I promise.
Yeah, we're going to do it.
Yeah, so I found an artist named Null Sleep, who's kind of one of the originators of this in New York City.
What's the name?
His name is Null Sleep. He's a Game Boy artist who started around 1998.
Right.
He had some Depeche Mode covers written on the Game Boy. I found it really interesting. And when I met him in person, I realized I could do it too. I can learn from him and do it too.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, and do you have to remodel this or get into the electronics of this to create the music? Like literally open it up and do something in there? Or is like the commercial Game Boy, is it still available?
Used. You can find them on eBay. You can find them online.
Or the one you could just buy in a store, if you know how to do it, can create the sounds.
Yes. So, I mean, one could get a Game Boy and just go ahead and use it. Many people, of course, they will open this up, mess around with it, install, for example, a backlight here, which Jessen helped me do, or did for me, actually. Right. There's modifications you can make, but ultimately, this is the stock original Game Boy that people make music and perform live with.
You've mentioned his name. Why don't you talk about what he has done for you in this process?
Absolutely, yeah. So Jessen, who's over there in the audience, a very close friend of mine, someone I can never express how much I appreciate. We met about 15, 16 years ago.
Okay.
He was...
and you've been doing this all this time?
I have, yes.
Keep going.
We met because he found me and he was working on a project for a journalism class he was in. He interviewed me for that, and we developed a friendship from there. We created a monthly series of chip music shows as well.
Shows because you did it in like a concert or a dance
Yes,
hall or something.
Exactly. With bars or concert halls, different areas. And he's been a tremendous help and a tremendous support and given me so much great advice.
And among the attractions to it, when you do that, you were explaining, then there's a light show. You know, it's like the old Jefferson Airplane and Grateful Dead light shows that they put kind of. Well, I don't want it to be rumor anymore. Play something, do something, and tell us what it is that you're doing. And we're going to expand it, and you'll see.
All right.
It's fun. It's different. It's Bronx. That's the way we look at it.
There we go. So I'll play a little something right now. This is a song I wrote in 2013.
You wrote this song.
Created this in 2013, and the song is there. It's on my cartridge. I'm going to trigger it live right now. I'll play a little snippet of it.
Here we go.
Get this audio up.
There's your rhythm. Now well, applause here. So you were actually playing that. I mean, folks couldn't see it, but he's got one of these things, and he's sitting there. He's sitting there launching his thing. It's like what is involved in the playing of it?
So fortunately, playing it is pretty straightforward. I'm triggering. Oh man, how do I explain this? There's columns and rows on this screen that represent the song that I've written. I'm triggering those columns and rows to create the sound and manipulating it as I go.
And all Game Boys, this for all the kids who had or still have a Game Boy, all the Game Boys like have it internally in there, in the workings of it, or you had to add some software or something to do
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So there's this software. I'll give you a brief history of it. This is a software called Little Sound DJ.
Yes.
Oh, it's created by
a
man named Johan Kotlinski in Sweden, right? He created this in I think it's around late '90s, and it basically turns the Game Boy into a sequencer tracker, so to speak. And so the Game Boy is capable of doing this, but yeah, there's a software that's written onto a cartridge.
Onto a cartridge that you put in there. How do you know which sound? In other words, there's a rhythm track, much like people would lay down tracks for other music. Mm-hmm. There's a rhythm track, then there's other kinds of sounds. How do you know which to do? And are you creating unique sounds, stuff that you'd never heard before? Maybe if I do it this way, it'll go woo woo or something like that.
Yeah, no, great question. So there's so many different ways to make sounds on this. There's so many tools that exist in the software. There's a waveform synthesis. You can do all these things. It's really fun to experiment and try to create an instrument on the Game Boy and use that to create the sounds. But there's also a lot of there's a large community. There's a lot of sharing involved. So there's been folks who, I've created a great snare drum. Let me share that with folks. And so you can also copy that and create something with it. There's different ways to get those sounds.
Do you want to give us a sample of a different type of sound? Now, musicians use this, right? It's an 8-bit. This is only my research. I didn't know any of this. It's an 8-bit sound chip offering a distinctive, warm, and crunchy kind of texture. You like that description?
I would say that's accurate, yes.
Because, you can do anything that boom, boom, boom. You can do that, but you create kind of something with it.
Yeah.
Do something else. Give us another sample.
I'll give you
what do you got?
Another example of, I think, a different kind of track. Let me just kind of get this going.
All right. Sounds like a construction group. go. Wow.
Thank you.
When I first listened to it, and as I listened to the music that you've put out, and there are CDs and there's all kinds of things, I said this is really good music for backgrounds, for soundtracks and things like that. Have you thought about? We are going to show one a little later that the music changes with the video. It's the perfect kind of thing for that, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think, as I said, there's a global community around this, and there's folks who've done all sorts of different things with it. There's folks who make just original tunes and put out some music. There's folks who work for independent video game companies. People do soundtrack work for films. Some folks add guitar, vocals, all different kinds of things.
So they'll add,
Yeah.
pardon the expression, human instruments,
Yeah.
like regular instruments,
Yeah.
to stuff like this. I could see how that could work.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you sit there and say, "Hey, Eureka! I've just created a new sound"?
Maybe none of those words, but yeah.
That's true. Eureka may not be a Bronx
I
expression.
mean, I like
get
it.
that.
I like it.
Eureka! And like, do you have to practice? Like a guitarist or a trombone player practices, or you could just sit down and tune it up.
Yeah. I feel like that would be stolen valor if I said I had to practice the way a guitarist does. No, I can experiment. I can create different things. It's really just it's a very mental thing. It's all on the screen. Of course, if I'm in a groove, things come easier to me. But this doesn't really require practice. Just kind of knowing what you're doing.
Do you do it every day, every night?
I used to.
You used to. Well,
Yeah,
we're all
yeah.
getting a little older.
There was a time where it was easier to do it every day.
And in terms of, when you play music, you want to serve an audience. You want to say, hey, here's my new love song or whatever, politics or whatever it is you're doing. Do you feel like you're playing for a specific audience, or do you feel like you like to just put it out and have whoever likes it,
I mean, yeah, I think it's more putting it out and whoever likes it, likes it. If I perform live, though, it's interesting performing alongside other chip musicians who kind of we all kind of know what we're doing. We use similar tools compared to when I perform for an audience that's never heard of this. It's a different experience, a different reaction, and it's really fun.
And what kind of performances are they? Do you go to a nightclub and people are hanging around? Do they dance to it? Because there are some with good rhythms. I mean, there's no question about that. Talk a little bit about the performance.
Absolutely, yeah. In different places I performed, there's definitely a dance element to it. There's different artists who do different styles. Sometimes I'll have people dancing. Sometimes I'll have people headed towards the exit. It's up and down.
Can you take a request? Can you play a dance track for us?
Sure.
Let
me go find one.
Who knew? I got to tell you, and if you're on TV, and I'm on TV a lot, you're always aware of the way you look. I'm just sitting here with my mouth agape. And it's just so much fun. And I will tell you, people, when we started the Bronx Music Podcast, the whole idea was to show the expanse of Bronx music, that everything is here. And then when Ricky Brugal came by and said, hey, do you want to do this? I said, how can I not? Because this is part of the panorama of Bronx music. All right, what do we got?
I appreciate that. All right, yeah, here's a song.
Should I get up and dance?
I mean, if you like, you're welcome to. There's a song from
So much fun.
What was it? 2010. It's called Nightlife.
A song from 2010.
2010. And the reason I'm playing this is because you said, do people dance? I remember the first time I played this song, I was surprised to see people dancing. So,
Well, so you played it like in a club or something?
I played this in the back of a bar called Niagara in Lower Manhattan.
Had you, and you wrote the song, you wrote the piece, you installed it, or you just know how you can create it even on the spot?
I created this song from scratch back then. It's here, and I will trigger it. I can do it for you right now if you like.
Chiptune music, that is what we're talking about. And it's funny, I've been in the music business for 50 years. Had never heard the word chiptune before.
Well, yeah, I'm glad I could show you.
There you go.
I thought you'd find it interesting.
No, the world is a funny place.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I got a little snippet for you.
There you go. Now, because I can see close up. Are you actually playing it, or you're just rolling a track? Because I see that with your fingers, you're doing something.
I'm rolling the track, and for specific parts, I'm soloing or moving left, right. I'm kind of one fun thing about performing live is that the track
One thing about what?
About performing these songs
live, okay,
is that I can make it sound a little different each time. I could make it sound not different at all if I want. I can isolate certain sounds at certain points. A lot of it is reading the crowd and just kind of seeing what's working throughout the night. And one note, this just occurred to me.
No, go ahead.
This song is on an album I released called Uptown Baby, which was all about how much I love the Bronx. So I thought it makes sense.
Wait, so that what you're about to play, or the one?
No, that's the one. That was the first track from that album I released. Yeah.
Well, then before we play something else, I'm going to use that same phrase that you use. Why do you love the Bronx?
Yeah.
And you're a lifelong Bronxite?
Lifelong Bronxite, except for, I don't know, college. The obvious answer is like, this is my home. This is where I'm from. Part of why I'm a fan of the work you do is because you really elevate folks in the Bronx, and you're like really interested in what folks are doing, which I think is awesome. It's something that I'm also interested in. I'm really interested in different cultures and different things that are happening around the world. I just find it fascinating, and I think it's really cool that in New York City and in the Bronx, you can meet people from so many different backgrounds every day. Like if I go across, in the building we live in, if I go across the hall to take out the garbage, go down I can pass by so many people from different countries, different ethnicities, different backgrounds. It's a blessing. It's a beautiful thing.
He's saying what I believe, what we all believe. And I think that's worthy of a little applause.
Thank you.
Listen, we live, Suzanne and I live on a floor with, I guess, 6 apartments, and in each apartment is people from a different part of the world.
Exactly. It's so cool.
Let's play something, and I'm going to watch you. I'm going to watch you spin it.
All right, I'll play.
All right, hold on. Here we go.
Am I playing a snippet or?
Believe me, folks, this is unbelievable. Go ahead.
All right, y'all probably know this song.
So you all know this one? Do you drive?
You will know this one.
Do you drive your neighbors crazy?
Maybe.
No. So far, your wife said she's here, and she said that it's not a bad thing. She's used to it. Okay.
I mean, I will say, oftentimes
you can wear headphones.
And I was just going to say, oftentimes I'm composing this on headphones. I can just really hear it right there.
All right. Does this have a name, or is it
this song?
Ad lib?
This song is from the same album. It's called Triborough Bridge, and it's my thought was at the time I was visiting my friends in Queens, my friends in Brooklyn, all over the place, and it's just kind of like about community with those folks. Just a fun little track, and I'll play a bit of it.
We love community in the Bronx.
Boom.
There you go. Well,
That was like half of that.
you know, because I'm watching you, and it means something. Like you're the rest of us may see it as, and hear it as random, but for you, like you are actually doing. Could you? If we, I'm not going to ask you to do it. If we needed you to repeat it, could you just do the same thing so it's and prove that it's not random?
I could, yeah, that I could repeat
Wow.
it. The challenge would be
It's amazing, folks. It's amazing to me. It
yeah,
really is.
And one thing, you know, I made several mistakes just now, and
What?
folks
What?
didn't notice that. So if I performed again, I
could
would
tell right away.
I wouldn't be able to replicate those mistakes. But you know, that's just kind of what's fun about it.
I
Just
made
just
mistakes.
having fun.
Well, what is the appeal of it to you? Of the sound of it to you? And do you think to fans and other people who are interested in chip music?
Yeah. Well, personally, the appeal is so growing up, I played a lot of video games, and I grew up listened to different kinds of music, but I really loved music directly from video games. I remember I would take, connect a radio to the television, get a blank cassette, and record video game soundtracks as a child. That's something I really enjoyed doing. And I would on a Walkman, listen to like the Mega Man soundtrack or something like that. So I just really enjoy those sounds. So to be able to create that, for whatever vision I have and not necessarily for a setting in a video game, I think is really cool. I would say, some musicians kind of shy away from the video game connection because they want to look at this as just an instrument where you can make anything. And I can appreciate that, but personally, the appeal is that aesthetic, that those sounds. I really enjoy them.
Are there limitations? Is it frustrating because you say, "Gee, I can hear something I can't quite get," or anything you can hear, you can figure out somehow how to create it?
Yeah, I think so. Those frustrations might come from my own personal, lack of training, and so kind of how I'm like.
So your lack of musical training, you think helps?
I think it can help, and
Wow.
it can also it can be frustrating during my process, but I think it can help because I might not be bound by certain rules that other folks are kind of like have in mind.
Because it's free. It's freedom.
Yeah.
It's literally the definition of freedom. Just about every musician we've had here. I mean, I'll use Grandmaster Kaz as an example, who was here on our podcast. And I asked him about music because obviously he's a hip hop star and he was part of creating this whole new industry. And he talked about his love for Motown and the Beatles and the Rolling Stones. But you're coming here you may love that music, but that's not what inspires this, really.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
It inspires my love of music in general, like the music I grew up on.
Yeah.
But
You're not going
specifically
to tell me Motown was no good. I get that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Of course not. But one note on that is that, again, those different genres you mentioned can be created on this too, which I think is really cool.
Really?
Yeah, there's folks.
How so?
So I think the first song I played for you earlier, and I can go back to it if you want to hear, if I want to
Yeah,
explain. Personally, when I created that, I was listening to a lot of reggaeton at the time, and I attempted to create
reggaeton. You said?
Yeah, and I was trying to create that kind of sound on the
Wow.
Game Boy, and so I'll go back and play a little snippet again, and you can see, you'll hear. Well, you can judge for yourself whether I nailed it, but that's what I was going for with this sound here.
There's a hip hop rhythm to that.
Absolutely.
No question.
So, and I can show if we have a moment, I can show
have a moment.
another example.
Podcasts are just as free.
We got time. If I could find this track. A song where I was trying to kind of show some Southside merengue influences, and again, you guys can
be the judge.
Yeah. And as I'm loading stuff, I'll say there's folks. I have a few songs. I've cover songs on here. Like there's different. Again, so many different things you can do with this.
The capacity is remarkable to me.
Yeah, and
the fact that you hear it like that, and then and make the connection is also fascinating.
And it's again very convenient to be able to do this on a portable device. Like that just makes traveling and performing so much easier. Having to bring an entire Atari or Nintendo on stages.
He's worried about an entire Atari. I'm thinking about the electric guitar and the amplifier and the drums and the keyboard.
Listen, all the setup we did earlier, let me tell you, sound check is usually a breeze for me because once we're in, we're in. There's not much I need to do.
Yeah.
So I'll play a snippet of this song. It's called Straw Man, and
I like it. Wow. You see, now that, I could see people dancing to that.
yeah, I should
No
play
question
I
about
should
it.
Play it live more often.
There you go. You know what I want to do? I mentioned that this could be used for a backing track. In fact, there was one thing as I was going through your, the stuff that you've put out. There was one thing, and it reminded me of a song, and I said, "Wow, I'm not a singer, but if there was somebody who was a singer could sing that song on top of that, it would work."
Oh yeah,
and that's kind of like what you do.
I've been able to do that before. I'll mention briefly. I have a track where I've had a friend of mine rap an entire verse over it.
Wow.
And it's a song I had already created. He just took it and ran with it. So yeah, definitely.
So along with my theory about the fact that it could be a soundtrack, et cetera, I went and looked at videos. And so for people who are listening on Apple and Spotify, you won't be able to see it. But if you do see it on our YouTube, are you ready to, Elliot is going to play the video. So folks in the house will hear the video, hear it. There we go.
There it is.
All right, there you go. So she's riding the bicycle, and when she goes to different places, the sound changes.
Yes.
Now, did you watch the video and create the music for it, or did you create the music and then the video is edited on top of that?
Well, actually, in that example, those are folks I've worked with before. That was not a song. That's not one of mine, but that's a band I've worked with in the.
I've worked with.
Yeah, I've worked with them in the past. Yeah, as a band called Amanaguchi. They're doing incredible things. They've kind of like blown up, but yeah.
And this is why, as I said, I like the idea of it being a soundtrack because, especially, you could create it as you go. Now, in the U.S., there is a Super Magfest.
Oh
A
yeah,
yearly, he says, "Oh yeah." So I'm reading this.
happening right now.
A yearly convention that hosts a variety of video game related events. Did you ever participate in it?
No, but Jessen actually has before. He's given. I'm not gonna not to put him on the
Jessen
spot,
is
but
your guru.
my
here.
yeah, great way to put it. My guru there. He's participated in that. Done some workshops, educated folks on stuff there. Yeah, that's a huge event.
It's pretty darn exciting, I think, for you that this has grown to the point of not just you in your in your bedroom going, "Wow, look at what I could do." That really there's real appeal for this.
Absolutely, yeah, and it's been cool. Seeing how things have grown from when I started doing this to something like MagFest being a huge festival that happens every year. It used to be kind of a few people at a random bar in Lower Manhattan. Now it's all over the world and all over the country, which is really cool.
And so for you, what's next? I mean, what do you plan to do with it, and or just wake up in the morning and say, "Hey, on a Sunday morning, I think I'll create something." Or like, what do you do with it?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, one thing that's great about this being, I mean, this is a hobby of mine. I have a whole career that takes up a lot of my time. There's a lot of freedom in the fact that this is just a hobby. It's not something I'm doing to pursue a second income or anything like that. So what's next?
Although, of course, that would never hurt. I mean, nobody would
check out the
complain.
Bandcamp, y'all. You could find my music on Bandcamp.
Yeah.
But
say the website again.
You're right. RickyBrugal.bandcamp.com has all my music for free /donation. So that's there. But yeah, as far as what's next, what's really cool is that it's whatever I want. If I'm in the mood to create a new album, I can. If I want to try a different platform, like whatever it is, I could do. I might have something this month, or I might change my mind. It's really cool.
Do you find specific inspiration? Like, somebody who writes a song says, "Oh, I was walking down the block the other day, and it was a beautiful day, and then I wrote a song about it." Do you get that kind of inspiration?
Absolutely, yeah.
You do?
Yeah, definitely.
Is it audio, sound
I mean,
inspiration, or is it just you see something and that's how you see the world?
I think a bit of both. I think that, and again, how do I put this? It's a really fun challenge to have an idea in my mind, not know exactly how to get it onto the Game Boy and give it a shot and come up with something that's close to what I envisioned. It's really fun. So it'll be something, I like to go on really long walks, for example, and I'll just see like really cool scenery and it'll spark a kind of sound for me. Or I'll be dealing with grief or some difficult time or some celebratory thing, and it'll just make me want to make something. Definitely, and again, doing so without lyrics is another cool part of the challenge.
I have to say this because this was something that I had learned. I interviewed the great percussionist Bobby Sanabria. He's been on the podcast. He's a friend of mine, and once when he was on my television program, he said, I'm always creating beats. I'm always looking at the world and thinking of rhythm. And I said to him while we're sitting there doing a television interview, and he wasn't playing anything, I said, "Are you thinking of rhythm now?" And he said, "Yes, I am."
Yes.
And so you as an artist, in the same way, I think I have tremendous respect for that.
Thank you.
And respect for the process of music. Does Nintendo know what they have with this? And in other words, should they say, well, wait a minute, if they're making music out of this, maybe we ought to make some gizmos that make it easier or do something else with it, or they don't care?
Well,
Nintendo doesn't have
the Nintendo company is, should I even say this? They're famously litigious, so I'm just gonna I'm gonna just stay out of their
I retract
line
the
of
question.
Sight. No, I think that they're aware of it. There's not much that they're doing with it, but to my knowledge,
they're happy that you're promoting it for them right now.
They need me.
Listen, I do want to get into one other aspect of who Ricky is, and that is you invited me to Rocking the Boat.
Yes.
Ricky works for Rocking the Boat. this is off the path of Bronx Music Podcast. I visited, and it's just one of the greatest places in the Bronx. Why don't you talk a little bit about it? It's different from the podcast, but it is totally Bronx. Why don't you talk about that, if you would?
Yeah, and thanks again for coming to our event. Yeah, Rocking the Boat is a boat building, environmental science and sailing program in the South Bronx in Hunts Point. I've been working there for a few years. It is, as you saw, it's a really special, really cool place where we have teenagers, folks aged middle school up through high school, all through high school, I should say, are in there building boats from scratch.
Boats, and those boats float on our river, the Bronx River,
They
which
sail.
of course is what the borough is named for.
The students in our boat building program work on a boat. The students in our sailing and environmental science programs use those same boats to do their work every day. I work as the college and career coordinator for that organization, which is really fun. I get to work with all of our students and all of our alumni. Been around for about 27 years. So it's a really cool and special place.
Wait, I want to ask you about that. So that is an indication that what those young people are doing is academically important for them.
Absolutely.
And they go, what do they go on and do after Rocking the Boat?
Well, and of course, they can get science credit for their time at Rocking the Boat. But what's really cool, I have a bunch of students. I have a student I work closely with who 2 weeks ago got accepted to Cornell. It's a huge celebration. We're very excited about that.
Yep.
I have students who go to schools all over the country. I have students who decide not to go to college because that's not the right fit for them. They go directly into the maritime industry. They get into the Carpenters Union. It's really great. And one thing I'll say about myself is that back to what I love about the Bronx. I am fortunate that for my career I get to do what I want to do, which is to help young people in the Bronx, and I get to do that. And I'm very fortunate.
And you get to make this wacky music.
And this wacky music, which, by the way, my kids dig. They dig it.
They do. Okay. You also said you had some stuff to show.
Yes. What? I have some gifts for you. I'd like to get those to you. So give me 1 second.
Here it is.
Having my Food Universe bag here.
His food.
So
if that ain't Bronx, I don't know what else is.
So what I can tell you guys what I'm sharing with Gary here. This is my official Ricky Brugal hat, which is, as you can see there, an outline of the Bronx, which is, I think, pretty neat. I think appropriate for this podcast. And
yes.
Well, also before we get this little sticker with my face on it, you'll love that. And I recently created a mixtape, the Ricky Brugal mixtape. If you do not have a cassette player, there is a download code inside. Don't worry. But I wanted to give
that to me.
This is for you.
Yeah.
Please enjoy.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to mention that I didn't ask you about or that we need to know about in this process?
I mean, yeah, you know how it goes. I'll remember something later. I did just want to take a moment.
I do a TV show every week. Believe me, I know.
You know better than anyone. I want to reiterate my gratitude for being here, everyone who is here, who made this happen.
Thank you, everybody.
I'm a big fan of your work, Gary, so I'm really glad that you responded and that I got to do this. I'm having a lot of fun doing this, so thank you. I just want to reiterate that.
Ladies and gentlemen, the great, the unique, the unbelievable Ricky Brugal.
Unbelievable,
we'll do
right.
a shout out. All right, we can say Nintendo, but Game Boy is still rock. Are they still available?
There are ways to find them. Yes.
All right. Listen, I just want to conclude and do our thanks, certainly to Ricky and his family and friends and everybody else who's here. And mention again, we're so proud we were recognized by Ponce Bank as the best Bronx podcast. And thanks, of course, to Elliot and Monica Glick, who's the proprietors of The Artist, which is just such a cool place. That's right. You can applaud. George Williams, my man, is the technical director and the brains behind Project Media Zone, which is a wonderful concept, using media to do things like this to help develop the Bronx. And production assistant Josh Cruz. Next show will be the first Sunday of the month, as we always do. It'll be February 1st at 1 p.m. I have an idea who we're going to invite, but we didn't invite them yet. But we'll celebrate Bronx music. Ricky Brugal, ladies and gentlemen, peace and love to everybody, and we'll see you around town.
Even the gun hill, From Freeman Street to Prospect Avenue, Fordham Road, Car City to Elder Avenue, Valley Park, Eaton Wall to Bronx